All right, so welcome back, 4G Nation. 4G Dave here. We are at the Turning Point USA, America Fest 2025. To my left, I have Chris Kemble. He actually is a criminologist.
Conservative criminologist, and he actually writes publications on criminal history. Did I say that correct? Yes.
So why don't you tell the 4G Nation sort of what it is that you do, and because it's unique, right? You're sort of one person here, and not many in the United States.
No, I started writing about crime history about 25 years ago because I was completely dismayed about the lack of knowledge of what's going on.
Sure.
The internet today is totally dominated by leftist disinformation. All the graphs and articles that you see out there are pretty much dominated by the leftists.
Yeah.
They have this mass disinformation industry about the end mass incarceration. They're spending probably $1 billion a year easily. Some of these organizations have annual budgets of over $100 million, and there's hundreds of these groups that are linked together. So I've been writing these articles, but more recently I started doing graphs because I think that's a great way to communicate information. So I take FBI uniform crime stats, put it into easy to understand graphs, and you use that to blow up the leftist narratives.
Yeah.
So when you go to my website, Stop Crime Tulsa, the first thing you see is a paragraph, and that paragraph is the 7 myths that the leftists use to build their crime empire. And then using these graphs, the subjective crime history, I blow all those narratives up.
So do you see do you see a lot of pushback with social media trying to sort of dethrottle your platform or your website because of your exposing sort of the fake news out there?
Oh yeah, well, I ran for office and I was, censored and deplatformed. My signs were stolen. First thing that happened was my email account got hacked. So that's a story for across the country where we all know that there's this massive pushback. But actually, I have a lot of problem with the establishment. I went to.
What do you mean by the establishment?
I went to 8 different Republican county chairs, the state chairman, the Senate pro tem. I've met campaign strategists and the like, and they pretty much, none of them would ever get back to me. I've found that with criminal justice professionals, almost none of them will ever even return an email to me. I don't get too much attention in the media. It's not to say that things aren't happening. I'm giving speeches, and I get on I'm getting more media. I've got new articles out there. Things are happening, but the establishment is, they don't like to change. And you have 2 kinds of establishment. You have the people in the Democrat strongholds, and they get beaten down. Some of my supporters, they got primaried by the Republican Party. Another guy who was a supporter of mine ran for sheriff, and then he got fired. So you got that aspect, and then you go to the Republican counties that are turning purple, and they all blame it on the new people who are moving in because the Republican message isn't working.
Yeah.
But they don't care about running more effective I'm from Wisconsin. In Milwaukee, the crime hellhole of Milwaukee.
Yeah, horrible.
And they don't
already know that.
They don't think it's their responsibility to carry a message into Milwaukee. And as a result, us Republicans in Wisconsin have been living under the thumb of the Democrats for years. The Republicans have lost something like 22 of the last 24 statewide elections. We control the legislature, but as far as statewide elections, we get beaten down by Dane County, the liberal, Madison capital, and the stronghold of Milwaukee, which is all Democrats.
Well, you're talking to a guy, I live in New York, right? So you're talking to a guy who completely understands. I mean, I think our assembly and our state senate has been Democrat, liberal Democrat forever. Albany obviously controls the state. We got one of the most liberal progressive governors in all of the United States, Kathy Hochul.
Yeah.
But Elise Stefanik is going to hopefully,
Right.
I mean, I don't know if a Republican ever win in New York, because the New York City is just so big, right? But hey, who knows?
Well, I'd just like to bring up the fact that all the talking heads are saying that Mondami's idea that we have to have more social spending, it drives me crazy that the Republicans don't bring the objective facts. Because I can show you the graphs. The Democrats controlled Congress for 40 years, from 1955 to 1995. They refused to reverse course. They said social spending is the answer. Social spending went up like this, and at the end of 40 years, crime was up 450%.
Correct. We all know that, right?
But we don't, because people don't bring they don't bring the objective facts.
Yeah.
And so when people say, well, you know, that's not going to work, and I don't understand why people think that way. I mean, I'm in 100% agreement with that, but please bring the objective facts, and that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you the objective facts.
Yeah.
I'll give you a graph, and you can look right at that graph and say, look at that, that's 40 years. We ran that experiment for 40 years, and it was a total failure. Why are we doing this again? Why aren't we using this as ammunition? Instead of saying to the young people, well, what do you think? Well, the talking head Republicans say this, and the Democrats say that. They go to the internet, and they get beaten down. And then the $250 million a year Vera Institute says that social spending is proven to reduce crime. That's BS, and I got
we
the
all
data.
know that. Right, yeah,
so
that's for sure.
Bring the data.
Yeah, no question. All right, Chris, hey, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, 4G Nation, stopcrimetosa.com to learn more about Chris. And what we're gonna do is, I'm actually going to take a look at your website, and if you don't mind, I'd like to share some of that stuff on some of my social medias.
Absolutely.
Is that all right?
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.